I know only love. This is my passion. An echo of timelessness. Art in application.
What is up guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to play Jhin. In my opinion, one of the most unique and fun AD carries you can play. First of all, you have that reload mechanic on your auto attack, so you cannot keep auto attacking like other traditional AD carries. You can auto attack 4 times and then you have to reload before you can auto attack again. But every last auto attack you do is going to be a guaranteed crit that deals bonus damage based on the target's missing health. So that means that it's pretty similar to being execute. You want to get the target to super low HP first and then use that 4th auto attack. And whenever you crit, you get some bonus movement speed. And that is the mobility that you have on this champion. You do not have anything else. And the Q, the dancing grenade, it can hit additional units, but the damage of this ability can be increased if you make sure that it executes units along the way. So if you make it so it kills a couple minions before finally hitting the enemy champion, that is going to deal a lot of extra damage. Your W is like a long range root, but it is only going to root when you allies damage the enemy champion and there's a mark. When that mark appears, then it can root. The mark will also appear if they step on one of your traps. So this allows you to go for some long range engages. You want somebody who can engage for you. We have the L-Star this game around, he is absolutely perfect. He can do a really easy combo where we can follow up with the W and then we can auto attack and then back off. Or we can all in. But when that 4th auto attack is coming up guys, then you can walk up aggressively to zone the opponent away. Because nobody wants to tank all of that damage for free. The E, your traps, they give a little bit of vision, but they can be used to stop the opponent from, for example, ganking. You can place them close to the riverside, so when the enemy jungler tries to gank, they'll be slowed, and after a short delay, the traps will detonate, dealing damage. And of course also applying a mark where you can use the W to root. So Jhin, obviously you want a couple of items first, like with every other AD carry. You want those crit items. That's where your last auto attack really starts to hurt. And if you want to wave clear, your Q and your E and even your W can help. So your W can get body blocked by champions. So keep that in mind as well. If you're trying to hit an enemy champion, be careful that there's not another champion who can like walk in front and body block it. If you want to wave clear, you can use your Q. Put the minions to low HP. So make sure that every Q bounce is going to kill the minion, because that is going to keep increasing the damage. And then you also have the W and the E if needed. But other than that, the wave clear is not the best. It's good, but it's not the best compared to a lot of other champions. And you start off with the boots on Jhin because it gives you access to that mobility. And you also get to start with 4 health potions. These potions will allow you to play a lot more aggressive in the lane, because you can out-sustain pretty much every other champion. And you can see how crucial that mobility is, especially in this lane right here. Because that is the reason I've been able to dodge a lot of incoming skill shots. They have Amumu and Swain. If you get hit by one thing, you're going to get hit by the rest. So mobility is key. Especially on a champion who does not have any dashes. We are just baiting them in here because we knew that our support and the Sejuani was coming in, and then also a GP ult coming in here, so that was a pretty easy bait. Giving us free 2 kills for our team. You can see you can just place the traps like this if you want to use them to wave clear. But other than that, you can place them as wards, you know, in spots where people try to camp in. or to gank from. So lots of different ways that you can use the traps, but they will really make it a lot easier for you. The rushing tier 2 boots, remember I said that mobility is key on this champion. He does not have any dashes. Only has a little bit of bonus movement speed in the early game. That is of course going to become a lot better later on. But right now the mobility you have is pretty limited. That's why you just go straight for the tier 2 boots, and that should help you dodge a lot of stuff and also kite people. And weave in your auto attacks without being able to get hit back. You will see how I'm placing the traps. I'm basically making really hard for the enemy jungler to gank. Now Shaco is topside, but the way Shaco ganks is that he stays close to the wall and then he wants to Q over the wall. So the way these traps are placed is that if he tries to gank that way that a Shaco normally ganks, he will step on the traps, he will get slowed, and then we can easily disengage. Now Mumu did take out the traps, so that sucks a bit, but you get the idea of it. That was a really good trade here. Pay attention to what I did. I did not use that 4th auto attack first. Before using that auto attack, I used the Q first. That is crucial to know because your Q, that execute damage where it deals more damage when the target is low HP, meaning that you want to get as much damage off as possible before using that 4th auto attack. That is how you really maximize the DPS. You can see with that bonus movement speed we're getting from the fleet footwork, the tier 2 boots, you can really start to play a lot more aggressive. While also not being too scared of the opponent's skill shots, because it is a lot easier to dodge that. But the ultimate is ready to go now with level 6. That is another long range ability, where you become the sniper with 4 shots. And the 4th shot of course also deals increased damage. But all these shots will slow the target. All the shots will slow the target. The last one deal increased damage based on their missing health, similar to your 4th auto attack. This ultimate can be used to get the kill on low HP targets who are further away. It can also be used to engage because every single shot will slow. You can use this to slow down the opponents for your allies to catch up. You see, we are playing way too aggressive right here, but it did end up working out because we got the ignite out for free and Swain is almost out of mana. So if you know your limits, you can of course play a lot more aggressive, but still do be careful. Because if you end up falling behind on this champion, it can be pretty difficult to get back into the game. Could be camping in the brush right here, so I have to be a little bit careful, just in case. But I still want to fix the wave. Remember to use the traps as well. If you need to wave clear really fast, then just place the traps and then clean out the wave and then peace out. We also need to fix the next wave, otherwise this will be in a pretty bad spot. Just getting the backline minions to low HP and then use the Q on the lowest HP minion and you can see it's cleaning it out pretty easily. Looks like he's trying to freeze for his Slayer, which is something every single support should be trying to do. This actually messed up the wave for me, so that was a good play by the Amumu. So that's something you should always try to do, guys. But at the same time, nothing for me to do, so I decided to base anyways. It's better than risking me dying, because then I would end up losing even more. Also using that W to last hit a couple of minions that are out of range. Now we can pop that ultimate. You can see it can get body block, guys. Can get body block, so do be patient when you're using it. You see how I was trying to aim at the Swain. He's the target that we want to destroy because he can easily heal back up with his ult. We want to burst him down. Luckily we did hit him with a false shot and you can see it dealing extra damage based on his missing health, so that is what allowed us to get the kill afterwards. But you can see this ultimate is what allows Jhin to be useful in fights, despite not being within range, like within auto attack range, compared to other AD carries. With Jhin, you can help your teammates from afar. So that's also part of what makes him unique. But the real fun part begins when you have a couple crit items. So you have your mythic item, you have the Infinity Edge that you buy as the second item right now because they buffed it, and then another crit item. That crit item usually is going to be the rapid fire cannon, but if they have lots of armor and they're pretty tanky, then you just get the Lord Dominic's. Still have to watch out because we are alone, so we don't want to grief it. That would be a complete disaster. You see how well we can kite around with that bonus movement speed we're getting from the tier 2 boots and also the fleet footwork. That's the reason that you're using these items and rune keystone as well. On top of also getting a bit of sustain, which actually helps quite a lot if you proc it on enemy champions instead of just, minions. The Swain does have the Rylai's, which does make things way more difficult because we don't have any reliable way of disengaging now. You saw that Q damage on the Swain right there. That's what happens if you get to amplify the damage before it reaches the enemy champion. We're trying to engage from far away with the ultimate. That means that we can provide decent damage without being, within risk of getting destroyed by the opponents. And we are on a cleanup duty, so that actually turned out to be pretty well for us because Gangplank is pushing top. So he's not losing anything. And we also got a couple kills, so we can also start snowballing, sitting on 2.6k gold. Then of course we want to base here. If we don't base here with all that gold, it basically means that we are not playing with the lead that we have. Now the Gale Force is a pretty interesting item on Jhin, and it's something you always want to build on him every single game when you're going for the crit build. The reason being, first of all, it gives him that dash that he really needs. He has no mobility besides that bonus movement speed. And the second reason being is that Gale Force also deals damage when you dash with the active. So if you are slightly out of range, like out of auto attack range of the opponent, when you have the Gale Force, you have your 4th auto attack ready. Use the item active Gale Force to get within range, get some damage off, then a Q, then auto attack. You do that, and that's going to easily annihilate the opponent. You can see right here the Swain survived because I did not Q first before auto attacking. But he did die to the GP ult. But this is a good example of what can happen if you don't do this combo properly. If I did it the correct way, where I Q'd first and then used the 4th auto attack, it would have been gone, because my auto attack would have dealt even more damage. So that is exactly why. Get all of your possible damage off first, and then the 4th auto attack. Our teammates are doing well, so that's awesome to see. We also have a pretty good comp. We have a really good team fight. Which, if I have to be honest, is very rare that I have this type of team composition in solo queue. But the next item is going to be the Infinity Edge. It got buffed, of course, meaning that you don't need as much crit anymore in order to get the passive proc. So we can get that as the second item and then get all the benefits that item provides. And when that is the case, of course you'll go ahead and buy it as your second item. Do not buy the Rapid Fire Cannon. This gives you the highest DPS. Like, Infinity Edge is the big spike on AD carries. It is the death cap for the AD carries. So now that we can get it as the second item, then why not? That's also why, you know, part of the reason why bot lane is the best role in the game right now, so of course you have to abuse it. Get the powerful item as your second, and then after that you can get the Rapid Fire Cannon or the Armor Pin if needed. And your crit also works on the towers, guys, so your 4th auto attack can also help a lot with taking down towers faster. It all sounds pretty good, but the downside here is that your crits don't deal as much damage. It would be pretty OP if they did. So they don't deal the full damage compared to other champions, but really it's not that big of a deal because you get insane AD numbers. And that is because of how this champion scales. Because building attack speed also gives you damage. Well, that is some of the unfortunate things that can happen. Somebody just randomly surviving with almost no HP. Oh wow, he's being lucky the second time in a row now. He was just barely out of that ultimate range. But you see, so you have a lot of skill shots on this champion, so you have to be really good at, you know, predicting enemy movement, so you can aim those ultimate shots properly. I mean, yes, he was going to die to the gangplank, but you know, we want to secure the kills for ourselves. When we can do that for free, why not do it? It's only a flash anyways. We have still not died this game. So that's why, if you can position well, and you know what the opponents can do, what they'll be trying to do, then you'll have a much easier time playing around it. And that's also why I have not yet died, despite playing an immobile champion. That of course does not mean that you're just gonna finish every game with 0 deaths, like not dying once at any point, but try to keep the deaths to a minimum. Unfortunately we got caught out by the flash right here, so yeah, that can happen. At some point you might get caught out, not much to do about it. Right here I got punished for flashing and getting that kill instead of giving it to the gangplank. So these things can happen. Just keep the amount of deaths to a minimum, guys, especially when you play a role like AD carry. We are sitting on a huge spike, we just need the Rapid Fire Cannon for that additional crit damage and that auto attack range. Imagine that auto attack range with a 4th auto attack onto a low HP target, it's over. That was pretty well played by the gangplank. absolutely insane barrels coming out from the gangplank. Fortunately, it seems like everybody got out. But he did take out a couple players on that team, so not all of them has the Baron. See how I'm placing the traps in the brushes, so when people come, I can slow them down. So if they're trying to do something like the Drake, trying to contest, then I can slow them down and potentially keep them out. We got ignited, so we can take the fruits to get some HP back. We're still pretty low HP, so I had to stay further away. We are playing against a Shaco, remember, it's an assassin. His goal is to go after us, so it's really important that I stay super far away right now. Otherwise, I'll get flanked from all positions and then I'll just die. So that's why I'm staying this far back. Cassiopeia is below us, Garen, Swain topside, and the Shaco could also flank. You see, this is exactly what I meant. Imagine if I was just pushed up a little further. I would have died 100%. This is exactly what I meant. This is what you had to think about when you play AD carries. Always think about what the opponents can do and what they'll be trying to do and when they'll do it. If you can master these things, that is what really will allow you to climb in this game. So I'm way too low HP to contest the Drake right now, and Cassiopeia is coming trying to get the kill. So I'm just gonna stay back. Obviously, if we get within range of the Cassiopeia right now, I'm just going to die. And the ultimate is also not enough. So now we can just take the rep buff, and then we can also get some health back. Now we are healthy again. But that previous fight also showed why Gale Force is so important, because that is also another reason that I survived. If I did not have that, zero mobility and I would have been toast. Some fights you'll just not be able to engage, and that's just how it is. That is so unfortunate with that ultimate. Both of them just barely to the side. If we got that kill on the Cassiopeia, that would have been nice. Sometimes you are going to miss them though. Remember to stay up in fights, like stay up in CS. You know, before and after fights. Otherwise you're gonna fall behind and you will give the opponents a chance to get back into the game. Because when the waves are constantly pushing towards them, they'll have a very easy time to farm up, while you cannot. We are sitting on lots of gold, but still not enough to get the rapid fire cannon. When we get that, that is going to be showtime. We got get those long range auto attacks. So this champion is pretty unique in multiple ways, but also the fact that he doesn't have to, you know, fully commit to a fight with his auto attacks. He can stay back and help with his ultimate and the W2. You don't have to be within auto attack range. And because he has so many different ways to play out the game, it's also part of what makes him so fun to play. Alright, we see the Shaco bot side trying to do the Herald. Just went for a random W. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. He could be flanking from the side, so I'm just gonna get away here. What's really important, especially as an AD carry player, guys, is that you don't tunnel vision. When you're auto-attacking something, it's really important that you don't tunnel vision, because that is what assassin players will try to abuse. They will wait until you lose focus of them, you know, when you're busy auto-attacking that tank or bruiser, whoever it is trying to engage onto you. When you're completely focused on auto-attacking them, that is when the assassin player will come in. So tunnel visioning is something you have to work on not doing ever. Alright, now we can get the rapid fire cannon. We have 60% crit right now, so one more crit item and it's going to be even better, but now we have that long range auto attack. So you can stack that auto attack up on the minions and then you just poke the opponents with 4th auto attacks. Because at this point in the game, they're dealing massive damage. And you can see that bonus movement speed also scaling up right here, so now when we crit, it is way better. Teammates going for the Baron right now. Of course we can shred that pretty fast when we have a gangplank. Jhin is not the best at doing the Baron especially, because he has burst damage. He also has damage, but he does not have, you know, super high consistent damage compared to something like a Vayne, Twitch, and other hypercarry type champions like Cassiopeia. 4th auto attacks and then he has to reload. So it is a champion that wants to play around his cooldowns and also his reload timers. He wants time to set everything up. They also have to play the team fights around that. We are pushing for the base right here. You can see that what I put above is if somebody tries to flank, because we could see some players in the top lane. Remember, always think about what the opponents can do and what they're planning to do as well. It's something every high elo player does, guys, and if you can do it as well, it will make it a lot easier for you to climb. So our top laner is dead, so we just had to wait it out. Teammates doing the Drake. We just have to help zone people away from the Drake too, so I'm just gonna stand on the side here. And the Drake is secured, so that's awesome. The traps are really convenient when it comes to, you know, slowing down opponents from reaching the objective, or to block out, you know, entrances as well, because if they step on a trap, they'll be marked, you can W, and then you can ult. So any trap they step on is going to be a massive risk, especially if it is a, you know, melee or like a squishy champion. And this Garen is taking absolutely no damage, but he's also full armor, so that's how it goes. And he just cancelled another recall, okay. So build that anti-healing, because we needed that early on. Alright, good thing that GP used this ultimate, because the clone was in the way, so I was thinking about Wing the clone to kill it and then ult the Shaco. But I bought the anti-healing early on because we needed it. Now I prefer that somebody else has it, for example the Victor. Because he has lots of AoE damage, so you can always proc it. So what I'm going to do right now, like when I have enough gold, I'm going to sell the anti-healing. Because Mortal Reminder also gives you a little bit of armor pin right now, so you cannot buy Mortal Reminder and Lord Dominic's in the same build anymore. But since Mortal Reminder does the best job at destroying tankier targets, we will go ahead and build that. But if they have a squishier team and they need the anti-healing, then I'll just go for the Mortal Reminder instead of the Lord Dominic's. We are still a squishy champion, and this is what can happen if you overextend or if you start being greedy and not respecting the opponents. Remember, I'm still playing as an assassin this game, so if I make mistakes, it really does not take much for them to kill me. So don't go on that solo split pushing adventure as an AD carry. Unless you're playing something like a Vayne, you know, champions with a lot of self-peel. Jhin wants to stay with his teammates, where he is protected, and then he can use all of his damage. That is a lot of healing coming in from the Swain, and that was even with the anti-healing procced. So imagine if I did not have anti-healing, how much he would have healed. You see right here, this is what Cassiopeia can do. This is the stuff that Jhin cannot deal with. Now we did have the Gale Force active up, so I also made a couple of mistakes. But if champions like the Cassiopeia, Vayne, Twitch or something gets within range, you cannot trade evenly in the later stages. They're gonna win straight up. Jhin does not want those straight up 1 versus 1s. He wants to be able to kite the opponent and slowly will them down. Those complete all-ins, that is where he really struggles. Because a hyper carry is going to out DPS you every single time in the late game. And that's because of your reload mechanic. There is delay to your damage, there is not to hyper carries. So also do keep that in mind and do not go for those unnecessary 1 versus 1s unless you know for a fact that you can win it. Alright, that is going to be another Baron. With this one we should be able to end the game. We're trying to aim for the squishier targets with that ultimate. But the thing is that your ultimate can also get body blocked. And that right there is some absolutely ridiculous bonus moon speed on the Garen. Look at that sweet damage with every single crit we are dealing, guys. This is so satisfying every single time you crit. That sound, the damage, the bonus moon speed, everything combined, it is so satisfying, man. And that's why I can understand why a lot of people like to play Jhin. I also like to play him a lot, especially if I get, you know, AD carry in a ranked game. Then Jhin is one of those champions I tend to, you know, play when that happens. I even play him in soul lanes once in a while. But of course AD carry is his best role, so you mainly want to keep him there. But remember to position well, stay in the back line. Don't be within damaging range of their main carries, they're gonna shred you to pieces. Just staying right behind the Sejuani as we should. We do not want to be at the front. At the front means that everybody can focus us down. We got that kill on the Sejuani, so we can just go ahead and push it out in the bot side. And then hopefully end the game from here with the Baron buff. Alright, and Mumu wasted his ultimate. You can see those crits coming in. Swain is a bit tanky. But if it was a squishier opponent, they would have been toast by now. Low HP Swain. He's dead though, he's not getting out. But don't pick Jhin into like hyper tanky teams. As I said, he does not have that high consistent damage. He has high damage, but not that high consistent damage like Twitch, Vayne and so on. You can pick him into like squishy comps, bruiser comps and so on, but not a full tank comp, because that is going to be hard. But that was how to play Jhin. Really hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching and see you all next time.